So, welcome to another episode. Today's an episode about something called a synchronicity, or as it's more commonly known, synchronicities. So, the word itself does have some connotations anyway, to synchronize with something, as you'd probably guess. But in this sense, it means something very specific. It was a concept first introduced by the psychiatrist of Swiss origin, Carl Jung, or Carl Gustav Jung for his full name. And it essentially means a meaningful coincidence where two or more events occur in a way that appears significantly related but not casually connected. The events can happen in close proximity, in time or context, and they defy the laws of probability, rationality, and logical explanation. He coined this term to describe, circumstances that sound crazy, but do happen, and they do have a significant meaning and impact on the individual's life who experiences these synchronicities. They can offer insight, guidance, and a sense of a connection really to the universe, to God, whatever you want to call it, to your purpose. So there are some key features that Jung not necessarily created, but discovered or put together. And we will have all had some sort of synchronicity in our life, and we'll have to come on to some examples that you can maybe relay across your own existence. But the features of synchronicities are things such as a meaningful connection, so something that means something to you, a relationship, a psychological impact, so wonder, mystery, a sense of being guided by something, or an experience that's very subjective to you. I'm going to give you a few examples because it probably doesn't sound like much at this point. But you might be one day thinking of a friend that you haven't seen in years, a friend that you've not spoken to for 6 months, a friend that may have felt like he's gone off the face of the earth. You think about that friend and they call you a day later. Now, you know that's happened to you. It's happened to all of us. We think our phone's going to ring, and then a minute later it rings. We see cars driving around, and something sticks out to us, and we think, oh, yeah, that's a great idea. These are all synchronicities. It could happen in a dream. One of the examples used was in Jung's book, actually. Someone at school, his parents said that they were going to take him on holiday to Spain, I believe. And he had a dream that he was in Spain and he went up to the cathedral, took a right, and he saw a horse and carriage. Now, when he actually went to Spain, he saw the same horse and carriage. Now, is this a premonition? Is this some sort of synchronicity? Using the explanation of a synchronicity, it defies all logical probability. There's no way that that can be a coincidence. Did he cause the horse and carriage, or was it a premonition of the horse and carriage being there? This is the difficult thing to understand and explain. That vivid dream you have, is it about something that's going to happen, or that has happened, or that may happen? We've all had it. We've all had insights that have come to us, and we've met certain people that have said a certain thing to us, and it's directed us in a certain way. And actually, we may not even know this person. We might overhear something, and it just hits differently, doesn't it? When it's a synchronicity, you hear it and you think, "That's it. That's it. That's it. That's what I need to do." There has been some insight into how you know that you're on the right path. We've all heard of the 11:11. You know, you see the clock and it's 11:11 or 22:22 or a very specific time, and you look at it, you think, "Oh, okay, that I feel something there." But despite those little number parts of this, I think that the wider messages and the premonitions are more important here. You might have something on your mind, and you randomly open a book to a page, and it gives you exactly what you're looking for. Is this a case of you looking for something and finding it, or that already being there for you, and you get the thought because you need the thought to give something context and give something meaning? It's very difficult to try and understand that. I remember I was on a podcast once, and there was this girl I was speaking to. It was her show, not my show, and I just had a feeling to say to her, "You should read the Florence Scovel Shim book." And it was in front of her on her desk. She picked it up and she goes, "This one." I was like, "Oh my word, that's incredible." There's been other stories that I've heard that a person in a club has had a feeling to go up to someone and say a phrase, "My leg hurts" or something weird, because the person they went up to, their dad had died recently, and said, "Look, if there's an afterlife, this is the message that a random person's going to come and give to you. You may see animals in certain places. You might see feathers or whatever, something that gives you that feeling of resonance." Now, why does this happen? And again, this is from a Jungian perspective. He looks at these happenings as expressions of the collective unconscious. We are all interconnected, and this interconnectedness reveals deeper truths and archetypal patterns. They serve as maybe checkpoints or markers for personal growth and transformation. And over time, it directs you to the path that you should be on. Does it make us more spiritual or reveal our spiritual side? And maybe it's some case of divine intervention. I know people do think this as well, where they think someone's going to die and then they die a week later. It's all very, very strange, isn't it? Scientifically, they say it's a result of pattern recognition and confirmation bias. Now, that's something that you can understand, isn't it? If you're looking for something and you find it, you think, well, that happened by chance, but maybe not. We are wired to seek meaning and patterns to give us some sort of comfort. We talked about existentialism before, didn't we? And essence, is sort of like us needing to find or create a meaning, and that it wasn't necessarily given to us, but we like to think that it is. Maybe is that the case here? How can we use this practically though? For me, it's a case of when you recognize these synchronicities, how do you reflect on them? And how do you try and learn the lessons and generate the sense of connection that you need? Does it act as a guide for your future decision making? And does it reveal the deeper parts of your unconscious mind, your belief system? And maybe trying to point out your purpose. So these phenomena, known as synchronicities, sort of give us a bridge between maybe the psychological side, spiritual side, or philosophical side. Either way, they are very intriguing, aren't they? And maybe we'll never make sense of what they are, but it's good to give them some thought. So whether you've got one to hand now that's happened to you recently, or whether now you know what they are, whether you're going to look out for them, but have a think and maybe make a comment on these videos or podcasts to say, yeah, do you know what, this happened to me and this is what happened. So that's synchronicities.